Thanks, Tom. An apartment building remains boarded up tonight in the Fairview community of Halifax. City officials say it is unfit to live in. This is the building in question on Evans Avenue. The city has declared it to have unsafe living conditions, including fire violations. The building was evacuated, leaving it to the rodents, bed bugs, and cockroaches that at least one tenant says crawl all over the place. And the CBC's Elizabeth Chu has been looking at another property owned by the same landlord that's under the microscope. So, Elizabeth, where is this second property?
Amy, it's right next door to 22 Evans Avenue. It is 24 Evans Avenue. And I've learned that it is also under investigation by the city for 29 violations under the Provincial Fire Safety Act. Now, we're talking about low-income housing here, and there is still one person living at 24 Evans Avenue. It was not pretty. One of the former tenants took me around inside the building, which is unlocked. Kent Mullen showed me his former apartment and one that a friend rented. I saw mouse droppings everywhere, and in both units, the bathroom ceiling had either caved in or had a big hole. There was broken windows, graffiti. The smell of mold was heavy inside this building. Mullen, who was recently released from jail, says the situation at 24 Evans is very similar to 22 Evans, the building that was shut down, and he was actually staying at number 22 when the building was evacuated by police yesterday.
You know, there's plumbing issues, there's, toilets don't work, there's bugs, there's bed bugs, cockroaches, fleas, rodents like mice and stuff. There's a lot of that down here too.
I haven't been able to go into 22 because it's all boarded up, but you took me on a tour of 24. Yeah. How did the two compare?
I'd have to say they're pretty damn close, right? Not as much of a mice problem over here as over here, but the bugs are still pretty heavy over here as well as over here. So I'd say pretty equal, right? The floors are all dirty, the hallways are unkept. They never fix anything in either one of these buildings. So yeah, I'd have to say they're pretty equal. They're pretty even in that standard.
Well, it sounds like quite a mess, Elizabeth. What does the city say about this second building?
Well, first of all, Brendan Elliott, a spokesperson for the city, says it is extremely rare for a building to be shut down by the city. It only happens on average about once a year. And Brendan Elliott says in the case of the building next door that is under current investigation, it is possible that it could also be shut down, although that is a last resort step by the city. The city is hoping that the landlord will comply with the orders over the next few weeks.
Anything is serious when we have an order that we expect an owner to follow up on. We don't issue these orders lightly. We look at everything and figure out on the balance of probabilities, is this a safe property? And if we're asking them to do something, not just asking, but requiring them to do something, then we think it's serious.
I just got off the phone a little while ago with Michael Moore. He is the lawyer for the landlord, George Temikolis. And Moore says the landlord blames the state of disrepair at 22 Evans on some of the tenants and some of their guests. He says the landlord has spent thousands of dollars on new windows and doors and removing graffiti, only to have people immediately damage their unit and the buildings. Moore says now that 22 Evans is empty, the landlord can carry out repairs. Moore says he has no knowledge about the fire safety violations next door at 24 Evans. And I should also add that the landlord is paying for a portion of the accommodations for the affected tenants at 22 Evans Avenue. The Department of Community Services is also assisting. Amy?
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Chu live in the newsroom for us tonight.